We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation. Those are the actual words of the least believable vice president in history today in the Oval Office when his plans for a meeting at the vice president's residence tonight to talk about the Epstein situation leaked so widely, including to NBC News, that James David Vance had to deny that he was planning a meeting to talk about the Epstein situation. He didn't deny the meeting. He simply said, we're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation. Every meeting is about the Epstein situation. Every Trump event and every Trump meeting, Trump administration meeting, Trump White House meeting is about the Epstein situation. Everything Donald Trump and everyone in his White House is doing all day, every day now is about the Epstein situation. It's about how to extract Donald Trump from his personal history with child rapist Jeffrey Epstein, who said, quote, I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. That meeting in the Oval Office today where Donald Trump said he was going to impose an illegal, unconstitutional 100% tariff on computer chips was about the Epstein situation. It was about distracting attention from the Epstein situation. And it worked with almost all the White House reporters in the room who were allowed to ask questions. 33 questions were allowed from the White House press corps in that room, and exactly 4 of them were about the Epstein situation. Actually, 2 questions, each with a follow-up. Changed the subject, which is exactly what Donald Trump wanted that reporter to do, exactly what Donald Trump is counting on from those reporters. We have never had a more reliably weak White House press corps when presenting questions to a president of the United States. Catherine Lucy of Bloomberg asked a good question about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell or Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell or Ghislaine Maxwell being switched to a low security prison, which she was not qualified to be transferred to, and which is now involving extra expense for taxpayers because the security at that prison had to be enhanced simply because that one sex criminal has arrived at that prison. The only sex criminal ever to be assigned to that low security prison. Robert Hood, a former Bureau of Prisons chief of internal affairs, told NBC News in an email that, quote, Maxwell's transfer to the camp in Bryan is a travesty of justice. To relocate a sex offender serving 20 years to a country club setting is offensive to victims and others serving similar crimes, wrote Hood. 28 questions by the White House press corps today were not about that, had nothing to do with that, illuminated anything. Not one of the 28 questions got an answer from Donald Trump that was real in any sense. Every one of those 28 questions got a flow of nonsensical gibberish from Donald Trump that included lies. And so the White House press corps is failing before our eyes. Every chance they get to question Donald Trump, every time they fail to pursue the only president in history who had a best friend for 10 years who was raping children nearly every day of those 10 years. Donald Trump's own Justice Department, which he now owns and operates, has said that Jeffrey Epstein raped over 1,000 victims. 1,000. They don't know how many thousands of children Jeffrey Epstein may have raped. Most of the White House press corps has no idea what any of those victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have said under oath about what happened to them. We are watching the worst president in history manipulate the worst White House press corps in history every day. But not Catherine Lacey and not Nancy Cortez, not today. It was Catherine Lucy of Bloomberg who got Donald Trump to lie about the J.D. Vance meeting, about the Epstein situation.
Is President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question.
Knows that Donald Trump was lying when he said he doesn't know if his vice president was having a meeting about him. The other reporters in that room did not care that Donald Trump just lied to their faces and laughed at them, saying, I don't know, I could ask you that question. These are the same White House reporters, many of them, who screamed at Joe Biden in unison about the same subject when they believed their job was to attack him. And when they teamed up to attack Joe Biden's White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, they conducted coordinated screaming attacks on her. And Donald Trump stands there and lies to their faces, insults them, and laughs at them, and they accept it. Here's the rest of what Donald Trump said in response to Catherine Lucy of Bloomberg.
I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit.